Idea generation, planning, and time management in IELTS essay writing. Let's go.
And today, effective planning in IELTS Writing Task 2, which maximizes our score through structured approaches. Let's see first the importance of planning in IELTS writing. Okay. Sorry, I went one this one. Okay. The first thing that we can see here is that it improves task response, as we talked about task response in previous videos. Planning ensures that all parts of the question are addressed, avoiding irrelevant ideas or off-topic content. A well-structured approach supports clearer articulation of arguments and a more complete response. So of course, it's one of the best things that we can do to get a great score.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing that it enhances coherence and cohesion. We talked about that before. A clear plan provides a logical flow and links ideas effectively, enhancing the overall coherence and cohesion of the essay. This captures the reader's interest and improves readability of our essay. And of course, it saves time while we are writing our essay. With a definitive outline, writers can avoid wasting precious minutes deciding what to write next. This time saving allows for more focus on developing ideas and refining arguments.
Okay, so just to review the first 3 slides here.
Yes.
Let's see what will happen if we don't plan. So if you don't plan, if you start writing immediately, what might likely happen is, first of all, you may not understand the question fully. And if you don't understand the question, you don't have the right task response. So you're answering a question that you didn't understand well. Now, the second reason is you spend some time reading the question and then think about how you would like to answer it. So you might understand the question, and if you start writing immediately, you might change your mind in the middle of your essay, and then there's no time to go back and rewrite the whole thing. You may not have thought through your arguments and everything you would like to include. So that also includes coherence and cohesion. And finally, as you mentioned in the third slide, not style, it saves time because you know already what you are going to write about. You don't need to think in the middle of your writing. And I just found the funniest thing here. The image used here is an RBC checkbook. I use the same checkbook. This guy is writing a check for $1 million for this presentation. Okay, so that's Royal Bank of Canada. It's beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
And there's a bullet, next to that checkbook. That
well, looks like
time is gold,
Is that a bullet or the?
Is it a bullet? I thought it's a
cap.
bullet.
I think
it's
just
a cap.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it's a bullet, and that's there because it shows you have to write, in the time. Because if you don't, okay.
That's a surreal image. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good.
So let's go.
The next one is it helps us actually in reducing errors. Having a plan minimizes the risk of leaving out key points or repeating information. This focused approach leads to a more polished final essay with fewer grammatical and structural mistakes. Okay. Now mastering time allocation in IELTS Writing Task 2. Because you know that we've got just 40 minutes to write Task 2. And the exam structure allocates 40 minutes for this. Ideal distribution, that is ideal, okay? It's not something that we can say just a fixed strategy. No, the ideal distribution includes 8 to 10 minutes for planning, 25 to 28 minutes for the writing, and 2 to 5 minutes for review, promoting balanced utilization of time across tasks. But of course, it's ideal. And now let's focus on some phases. The planning. During the planning phase, prioritize brainstorming key ideas and organizing them logically. This structured approach ensures that all aspects of the question are addressed effectively in the subsequent writing phase, which is the next phase. In the writing part, concentrate on clarity and grammatical accuracy. Ensure that each paragraph serves its purpose, maintaining coherence and directly responding to the prompt. And then the review part. The review part is critical for catching errors in spelling, punctuation, and adherence to the task requirements. Dedicate 2 to 5 minutes to refine your essay for optimal clarity and higher scores. This is the part that lots of students may ignore, and that is very vital.
Yeah.
And okay, you have something to say?
So you broke down the 40 minutes into 3 sections. The first 2 to 5 minutes for planning, then there's the actual writing phase, and then there's the proofreading at the end where you go back and try to fix any typos, spelling errors, grammar, or anything else. Here might be a question though, and I don't know if we are going to address this question later on in this presentation or not. So you tell me. So one question might be, in the first time slot of 2 to 5 minutes that you are planning, how do you come up with ideas for
we're going
the
to talk about
question posed? Yeah, we'll talk about that. So
yes.
Okay, great. So here's a big question for some of the students. Say, I have no idea what to write about. It doesn't matter how much time you give me. I don't know where to start, how to plan, because I essentially don't have any answer to the question. And there's some interesting points that we are going to cover about that too. So I won't add anything here. Later on, when we have the right slide, we go over it. Yeah.
Sure. Then we have that effective time management. Mastering time allocation not only enhances essay quality, but also builds confidence. Regular practice under timed conditions helps develop these essential skills, leading to better performance during the exam. Okay, now steps for effective planning. That is something that we are going to discuss here. First of all, we should understand the question. Analyzing the task type is crucial in responding effectively. Identify whether it's an opinion discussion, problem solution, or advantage-disadvantages essay. Keywords help focus on what needs addressing, ensuring all parts of the question are met. So first, understanding the question. Then brainstorming ideas. Gather 2 to 3 main ideas to back your arguments while brainstorming. Develop examples or explanations for each point, ensuring they are relevant to the thesis. This prepares a solid foundation for constructing a coherent essay. And then outlining the essay. Creating a structured outline is integral to effective writing. Start with a strong introduction that paraphrases the question and presents a clear thesis. Each body paragraph must cover a single idea with an explanation and example, culminating in a strong conclusion. Now, practical tips. Of course, timed practice. Practicing under timed conditions helps simulate exam pressure, making candidates more comfortable during the actual test. Allocate specific time slots for planning, writing, and reviewing to develop a proficient writing pace. This is very important to do before exam. Then we must be familiar with question types. Understanding the different task types, as we said, opinion, problem solution, advantage, disadvantages, essays, enables students to prepare tailored responses. Regular practice with each type enhances confidence and efficiency in addressing prompts directly. Sentence structure variety, of course. Using a mix of simple, compound, and complex sentences enriches writing quality and demonstrates linguistic range. Incorporate linking phrases and varied vocabulary to enhance coherence and keep the reader engaged throughout the essay, something that we talked about in previous videos in detail. And importance of review. Reviewing the completed essay is crucial for identifying and correcting errors, as we said, in spelling, punctuation, and task fulfillment. Allocate at least 2 to 5 minutes to check that all parts of the question are addressed and the ideas flow logically. and concluding remarks on planning and skills building. Effective planning and time management are essential strategies that lead to better scores in IELTS Writing Task 2. Regular practice, understanding question types, and refining writing styles are key to building confidence and achieving success. Now here, that's the part that I'm going to talk about, that 8 minutes, that how we are going to divide it, in just by having a sample here.
The preparation phase, right? The
Yes,
first
of
slot.
course.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So if there's something first you want to say, then I will talk about this.
No. Let's go. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's imagine this is the question type in the exam, which is some people believe that governments should invest more in public transportation to reduce traffic and pollution. To what extent do you agree or disagree? This is one question type in the exam. Okay, now step one. As we said, it's analyzing the question, which about 1 or 2 minutes would be enough for this part. That, okay, what do we mean by analyzing the question? We said, in number one, we can say identify type of question. Here, this is an opinion essay because it said to what extent do you agree or disagree? Then understanding the task. How are we going to understand it? Using keywords, paying attention to the keywords. Here, for example, governments, invest more, public transportation, reduce traffic and pollution. And then we should focus on, do we agree or disagree that investing in public transport is the solution to these issues? We choose our position. The position here is fully agree, which means we completely agree with this idea.
So just before we continue to the next slide, so here there is a really important point. The focus part, the second bullet point in understanding the task. Remember that it's not asking you whether or not you agree or disagree that investing in public transport is a good idea. Okay, so if you get half of this question and you try to answer half of it, like, is investing a good idea in public transport? Is investing fixing any issues? That's not going to be the right task response. So you need to understand all the details of the question. So remember that the focus is public transport investing in order to solve a particular issue. In this case, it's going to be traffic and pollution. So we're only going to answer the question in a way that says investing in public transport, how that is going to affect traffic and pollution, not anything else. Okay, so we're not going to talk about any other ideas related to investing in public transport. So that's very, very crucial in this phase when you are trying to plan your answer to the question. Make sure that you're not answering part of the question. Make sure you know exactly what the focus of the question is.
Exactly, and not just writing about the question, The candidates might think that it's just about traffic and pollution. Okay, so we write something about traffic and pollution, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good news is, regardless of your answer, you are right. Like it doesn't really matter whether you agree or disagree. You could agree that investment leads to better public transport, which solves these issues, or you could disagree. That's not the point. You're not going to lose any marks for agreeing or disagreeing. The point is whether you agree or disagree with the correct question. That's the point.
Right. Okay. And now step two, as we said, brainstorming the ideas. It can take about 2 minutes here. That, of course, we are going to think about some main reasons that we want to agree with. The first one could be public transportation reduces private vehicle use, which decreases traffic congestion. So it is about the traffic part. And fewer vehicles on the road result in lower air pollution. Two main reasons to be discussed in 2 body paragraphs. So just 2 main ideas here.
Yeah. So here is the tricky part. That the point I brought up earlier, something that students ask a lot is, how did you come up with these 2 ideas? Like you're at the exam, you read the question, even if you understand the question fully, how do you come up with these 2 ideas? How do you come up with these 2 reasons? Like, how do you know that it reduces private vehicle use, which decreases traffic congestion? How do you know that fewer vehicles on the road resulting in lower air pollution is an idea that you are going to write about? And it's very, very tricky because the short answer is we have no idea how ideas are formed in your brain, scientifically speaking. Like, we have no idea. What we do know, however, is that ideas tend to appear if you spend some time with a question and you think about it, especially if you have prior experience with the topic. So that's why we always encourage the students to read a lot about various topics, so that they gain a really large, varied knowledge of everyday topics or anything they might come up with later on. And once that is done, if you have no idea how to answer the question, spending some time with the question, reading it again and again, might help, that you might come up with these ideas. But there is no short answer. How did you come up with these two ideas? And by the way, you could give other reasons to agree or to disagree. So these are just two examples. You could come up with other different ideas as long as they're related directly to the question asked.
Yes, of course. This is the tricky part, I believe.
Yeah.
Thinking about reasons and brainstorming. And this is now a detailed plan, that, okay, of course it's ideal because it depends on everybody's skill. But something that we can see here is that, okay, in the introduction part, of course, at first there is a paraphrasing of the question that this is something that I myself try not to do in the planning part, because this is, of course, based on the level of the students. You can just do it at the moment when in the writing phase, But in the thesis statement, we should know that, okay, I want to strongly agree with that sentence that we said, with that idea that the government should prioritize funding for public transportation and the rest. Okay, this is something that we know. This is the thesis statement. And
so
then
this is a draft of the main ideas in the paragraphs. Like in introduction, you want to mention that you agree. Now this is a detailed draft. So when you're sitting at the exam, you can just have this as a mental image, or you can just write a few words on a piece of paper.
Exactly. And as I said, it's really detailed and ideal. We know that, okay, then the next thing that I'm going to think in my plan is body paragraph 1. This is the part that I want to talk about, the reduced traffic congestion. So everything that I'm going to think about is about this. First, of course, this is the topic sentence. I know that I want to say that greater investment in public transport significantly alleviates traffic congestion. So investment in public transport is my topic sentence, and alleviating traffic congestion. So how am I going to explain that? In the explain part, I say that efficient systems like trains and buses can carry far more passengers than private cars. So that's my reason. And then supporting my reason by an example. Cities like Tokyo and London have reduced traffic by improving public transport. This is something that we think here. And then we can link that by decreasing traffic, public transport also enhances overall productivity. This is something that can be just for to know what we are going to write in our first body paragraph. And then for the next body, lower pollution levels. The topic would be public transport investment helps reduce pollution caused by vehicles. The reason, fewer cars mean fewer emissions, improving air quality and reducing health risks. What's the support? Research shows that cities with high public transport usage, like Copenhagen, have clearer air than car-dependent cities. This is something that we know we are going to work on body paragraph 2. And then we come to the conclusion. And in conclusion, because there is nothing new added, so there is a summarizing of the whole essay, investing in public transport reduces traffic and pollution, and restating the opinion in the introduction. Governments should prioritize public transport as a key solution to urban challenges. This is something that can give us a whole idea about what planning phase might look like. And that's all. I don't have anything to say here.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.